Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers of Wrestling podcast. My name is Jack and today we are reviewing NXT Takeover Phoenix. It's just quality every time. You can't just keep on saying, look, it's a really good show. It's a takeover. I might as well pre-record a segment saying, this is takeover, it's quality, because it is every time. I haven't written any notes down because I was enjoying all of the action last night, but I shall do my best to get through it as quick as possible and as accurate as possible as well. So we kicked off the night with the Tag Team Championships, the Undisputed Era, the current champions versus the War Raiders, and the War Raiders came down in a fantastic looking entrance of, like, was it 6 Vikings flanking them either side, or 3 either side, and yeah, it was just looked fantastic, pleasing to see a proper Viking entrance from the War Raiders. And from that point on, it was like, oh, are Undisputed Era going to get a special entrance? Is anyone else going to get a special entrance? Are they winning because they've got a special entrance? And they did. The War Raiders are the new tag team champions after a fantastic match to open the show. Undisputed match. It's always good. What more can I say? Hanson, Rowe even was throwing people around, whether it was Hanson or Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly. It didn't matter who it was. And at one point of the match, Hanson went for a suicide dive through the middle ropes, but everyone, I think Kyle O'Reilly might have dragged Roderick Strong out the way, and he crashed and burned. And for a man that's just come back from rib injury, I'm pretty sure, he landed right on his side. It was just like, oh Christ, I hope he's not injured again, because it looked like a heavy landing. But the finish of the match was the Undisputed Era trying to go for their low-high move, but Hanson cartwheeling out of it, and the War Raiders just capitalised on this, got on top, destroyed Kyle O'Reilly, and Rowe, I believe, picked up the pinfall on Kyle O'Reilly. It was just a really good opening match. It seems like a staple of a takeover to have a tag team match open the show, and it just delivers every time. It's a really good way to start a takeover, and it didn't disappoint this time either. I rated this match 4 stars out of 5, because it should be out of 5, not anymore. Next up we had Matt Riddle versus Kassius Ohno, and this match, it was a good match. It wasn't too long. It wasn't as long as the tag team match. It was about 10-15 minutes, but there were some nice little spots in there. Ohno accidentally kicking Matt Riddle, I forgot his name, Matt Riddle in the mouth and cut him open. I assume he knocked a few teeth out as well. Matt Riddle's kind of draped on the bottom rope. Kassius Ohno just came in, boot right into the mouth. It was just like, you can tell from the replays, it was just like, oh god, that's a bit, oh no, I don't like that. But yeah, the match ended with Matt Riddle locking in pretty much every limb of Kassius Ohno after Kassius Ohno went for the bro fist, if you will. Matt Riddle said no, locked every limb into, just locked them up, and then started striking Kassius with loads of elbows, which made Kassius tap out. It's a really unique way to end the match. I don't remember seeing it before, having a person tap out, not from a submission, but from just strikes, because he was proper elbow striking, and it seemed good. It seemed like a proper MMA style finish, I guess you could say, because if they're on top just striking you with elbows, you're going to kind of give up in a way, I guess you can say. So I like that finish. I rated this match 3 stars. It was never going to top the tag team match, but it was still a decent enough match, and Matt Riddle picking up the win over Kassius Ohno. The North American title match was up next, and I'm going to throw it out there. I'm pretty sure this is going to be match of the year come the end of it, because it was absolutely fantastic from Ricochet and from Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano's just a match of the year machine, I guess you can say. Ricochet not only looked agile as heck in this match, he looks strong as well. There was one point where Johnny Gargano went for a suicide dive, and Ricochet just caught him on his shoulders, but then it ended up being a Frankensteiner, I think it was, on the outside, and it looks pretty brutal. And Ricochet sold it. It just folded up. It just absolutely folded up after it. There was a couple of slingshot DDTs which Ricochet kicked out of, and it was just like false finishes galore. I'm not doing it justice here. Johnny Gargano ripped up the padding on the outside to expose the concrete. You know, play on what him and Tommaso Ciampa have been doing recently. He looked around the crowd even, and decided against it. But then later on in the match, it was still exposed. You kind of forgot about it, but he then used it there and then, and it was just a fantastic use of teasing something, making you forget about it, and then going back to it. It was just a fantastic use of that. They had a spot on the top rope, which has been seen recently with Ospreay and Kota Ibushi, where he goes for a Hurricane Rana kind of thing, Frankensteiner, off the top rope, or in this case the middle rope, so there's a lot less room for a movement, and Ricochet just flipping through it and flipping onto his feet. I like that. I believe he's done it before, Ricochet, and it might have been with Ospreay actually. I can't remember. My window's open. I'm sorry if you can hear that wind. And then the match finished with another slingshot DD. Ricochet put Gargano in the Gargano escape as well, which looked really good. Gargano escaping from that. But it did end with a slingshot DDT and Gargano picking up the win and becoming your new North American champion. Interesting. We'll get on to that at the end of the night. I gave this match 5-star. No doubt, 5-star. Don't at me if you didn't think it's 5-star, because it was 5-star. Next up, we had the Women's Championship match between the champion Shayna Baszler and the challenger Bianca Belair. It was an okay match. It was quickly worked into, I think, Shayna managed to grab Bianca Belair's hair in between. So the post was here. Bianca was one side, Shayna was the other side, grabbed her hair and yanked her into the post, which injured her shoulder. And the match then spilled out, and it was just a case of Shayna working the elbow and the shoulder throughout the match, doing the spot where she stands on the arm, what Dakota Kai broke her arm with. Bianca Belair then went for a spear with the injured shoulder, which kind of took you out of it. It was like, oh, is it injured? And then she remembered to sell it, so it's just like, okay. I guess when the adrenaline's pumping through you, you just do whatever you want, whether it's injured or not. Okay, we'll accept it. And then Shayna Baszler stuck in the coquina clutch after, working the shoulder, and then Bianca Belair managed to just squeeze out of it. After not too long, it was about 20 seconds, she managed to squeeze out of it. And then later on in the match, there was a ref bump, and the ref was down. Bianca Belair hit a finisher. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. And pinned Shayna Baszler, but there was no referee to be found after the ref bump. And out came Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke to try and interfere. They didn't do much damage, if any at all. They kind of ran through, and Bianca Belair chucked them to the other side pretty much. And then before, I think Bianca Belair hit another move. She then went top rope, I think. And once again, I think it was Marina Shafir tried to interfere. Bianca Belair kicked her off. And then she jumped, I think she did a moonsault, if I remember rightly, off the top rope into the coquina clutch, whatever Shayna Baszler variation of the clutches, the coquina clutch, caribou clutch, or whatever. And it was held in there for 2 minutes, but it's just 2 or 3 times Bianca Belair was just trying to get out of it. She got to her feet one time to try and deadlift, and then her body just gave out on her, and then eventually she passed out. And Shayna Baszler is still your women's champion, and I thought it was really good storytelling how you could get this woman. She's trying to break out of the thing. She's trying with all her will to break out of it, and her body just won't let her. She kept on going. She kept on trying to break out, but in the end, her body just gave up on her. And no doubt we'll probably see in the future Bianca Belair take the title off Shayna Baszler after breaking out of the coquina clutch. That's what I think anyway. Maybe I would assume at Mania, because I assume Shayna Baszler is getting called up after Mania, but I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But Shayna Baszler is still your NXT Women's Champion. What did I give this one? 3-star. I gave this one 3-star. Next up, on the main event, Tommaso Ciampa, the NXT champion, versus Aleister Black. And this was a decent match. It wasn't as good as the Gargano Ricochet match. I don't think it was ever going to be as good as the Gargano Ricochet match, but it still did its job. I don't remember too much from it. I'm trying to think, but I don't remember too much from it other than the finish, which was throughout the match. Aleister Black. It was very early on. Aleister Black injured his leg, and there was just a story throughout the match. And the finish of the match was Tommaso Ciampa had already hit his fairy tale ending onto Aleister Black, which Aleister Black kicked out of. He hit another one, which Aleister Black kicked out of, which amazed me and everyone else in the crowd, like I was there. And this kind of got to Tommaso Ciampa. He tried to go for another one. Aleister Black then kind of got out for it, went for his black mass, and his leg just gave out on him. Another fairy tale ending, and Tommaso Ciampa is still your NXT champion. And then after the match, he was stood at the top of the ramp, holding up his NXT title. Johnny Gargano came out, looked at each other, and they both stood at the top of the ramp, holding their respective gold. And it was a great visual to see the end of NXT, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But at the very, very last second before the screens turn black, Gargano just looked over and looked at the NXT title. It's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. It's not over yet. But I gave this match 4 stars, I believe. And overall, I'm going to give NXT Takeover Phoenix 4.25 stars. It was very good, but it's NXT Takeover. It's very good. If you did enjoy that, please leave a like on the episode. Please subscribe if you're new around here. And I shall see you again, maybe for the Rumble. I'm going to get drunk, so I don't know. Maybe it might not be me. I'm not too sure. But like, subscribe, and I shall see you again very soon. Thank you very much for watching.